39 days to election 2020. Hello and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including ATL FM, Cape Coast, Radio Max, Takrade, and around the world at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, Accra Region Police Command interrogates NDC National Vice Chairman Alhaji Said Sinari over accusations he distributed weapons to some persons to cause chaos during the December elections. We'll bring you an update as NDC supporters mass up at the Accra Region Police Command, and former President Mahama accuses NPP government of trading off COVID-19 loans to small businesses for votes, as he assures next NDC government will not retrieve the loans. We'll hear from him as he continues his campaign of the Greater Accra region. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo wraps up his tour of the Greater Accra region. Also, Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools demands review of the free SHS policy, saying it hampers effective administration of schools.
The PTA will play very significant role in our schools. If a policy is in place and for the past 3 years it is not working, then it needs to be relooked at.
We'll hear more from the Charles President. And Ashanti Regional Health Directorate warns of a second wave of coronavirus if Ghanaians do not observe safety protocols.
It's only one case that you need to escalate the number of cases. So once we are getting 1 or 2 cases, if we are not careful and then we don't adhere to the protocols, the possibility that the cases will come up is so very rare.
I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. I'll bring you details shortly. You heard the supporters of the opposition NDC as they massed up earlier today at the Accra Region Police Command. The police has been interrogating the NDC's National Vice Chairman Alhaji Said Sinari over accusations he distributed weapons to some persons to cause chaos during the December elections. The Ayawaso North Constituency Chairperson of the opposition NDC is reported to have confessed to the police that Alhaji Sinari supplied guns to some youth to cause chaos during the December 7 polls. Alhaji Said Sinari is currently in the company of his lawyers Baba Jamal and Abraham Amaliba at the Region Command. But we've cited a letter he wrote to his party. Enes Menu has details of that.
So it's titled Malicious and Politically Motivated Accusations by Mr. Tahiru Ahmed, Constituency Chairman of Ayawaso North. I, Alhaji Said Sinari, National Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress NDC, write to your esteemed office and bring to your attention that Mr. Tahiru Ahmed, the NDC Constituency Chairman of Ayawaso North, have officially lodged a complaint against myself at the Greater Accra Regional Police Command. It says Mr. Tahiru Ahmed has been my permanent employee for the past 8 years until last month when his appointment was terminated, as I had enough suspicion that he is a mole for the ruling party. Now, point 3 says, according to his accusations filed with the police and the AK-47 gun produced, I gave him those guns to be used in the northern region during the national elections on the 7th of December 2020 to intimidate NPP voters. Point 4 says, this singular action initiated at this time confirms my suspicion that he was working against the party's interests and intend to bring myself and the party's name into disrepute. Now, it is my prayer that disciplinary procedures are immediately initiated against him and excluded from the party strategies. Point 5, which is the conclusion of this letter, says, please accept, Honorable Chairman, the assurances of my highest consideration. And it's signed by Alhaji Said Sinari, the National Vice Chairman.
All right, NS Menu, they're bringing us details of that letter written by Alhaji Said Sinari. My colleague Kwekwa Sante is currently at the Accra Region Police Command, where some supporters have masked up over interrogation of the NDC's Vice Chairman. He joins us on the line. What can you report, Kweku?
Well, so far, we can confirm that the police have been interrogating the National Vice Chairman of the NDC for over 2 hours now. About 2.5 hours ago, Mr. Baba Jamal actually joined Abraham Maliba, who had already been here with Alhaji Said Sinari, who have been with the police here at Accra Region Command. So far, we do not have any information yet in terms of what exactly the interrogation is going and what confession, if any, has been. But so far, as I see, Mr. Baba Jamal and Abraham Maliba have all come out in a bit trying to talk to some family and supporters who have marked up here at Accra Region Police Command and trying to talk to them and have some information to them. But they've refused so far to speak to me. I actually approached Mr. Baba Jamal and he said we should hold on a while because they are still trying to get some information. So, Bernice, here at the Accra Police Regional Accra, any information in terms of what charge, if any, is going to be leveled against Alhaji Sinari over the allegations that have been made. But just like you introduced, Bernice, some ND supporters have also strong the premises here. And the kind of thing they are saying is that they think this is a setup by the Ayawa North chairman of the NDC against the president. They think he is being paid by the NPP to make these allegations against this man at this point in time. That is.
Kweku, have you spotted any bigwig of the NDC there?
So far, not yet. But in terms of lawyering, where Mr. Abraham is here, Mr. Baba Jamal is also here. And those are the top level members of the NDC who are here so far. Then the national chairman has not been here, general secretary, and other members of the top leadership of the NDC have all not been here as I speak.
Thank you, Kwekwa Asante. We'll leave it here for you to gather more information for us. That's my colleague coming to us from the Accra Region Police Command, following that story keenly for us. This is your election headquarters, and we stay on election-related news. The Member of Parliament for Ododo-Diodio, Nilante Vanderpoy, has indicated the two persons arrested by the police following the MPP-NDC clashes this past Sunday morning are in fact members of the NDC. The MP subtly suggested that even the application of the law has been selective. He was speaking on Campaign Trail, a political show on Joy Prime.
You have organized your work on Saturday peacefully. We totally allowed you. We gave you the permission, everything to do what you wanted to do. And then we want to do ours on Sunday. All of a sudden, you go and organize tax to pelt my people with bottles. So one of your boys comes out and starts shooting into the crowd. 3 people that, were shot. As I'm talking to you now, yesterday night at 9 o'clock, before we got the last person out of the theater at Kolebu, it's been serious, huge cost to me. We'll be setting the record straight. All the incidents of violence that have happened in the constituency, we'll be showing. We have pictures and videos of all those things, from the registration exercise up to last Sunday, and even on Monday morning. Victims, we'll permit all the victims. We will have the victims all testify. We will let people know. We can give you a chronicle of all the cases we've reported to the police. We, the police, have done nothing about it. We would let the whole world know that as we are talking today, those who started the violence, those who shot at people are walking free. And our boys, 2 of our boys, have been arrested and kept in police cells since yesterday.
So you can confirm that those who were arrested were members of the NDC?
Yes, our members of party.
You heard the Nilante Vanderpoy speaking to Benjamin Akakpo on the political talk show Campaign Trail on Joy Prime. Well, Nilante Vanderpoy has also bemoaned injuries visited on members of his party whom he says were merely embarking on a peaceful walk. He rejected all accusations of complicity in the incident leveled against him by his political opponent in the constituency, the MPP's Nilante Barnaman. Away from that story, Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak is calling on the Ghana Police Service to review the operations of its anti-armed robbery squad. He explains the unit has over the years killed some citizens in a manner similar to police brutalities in Nigeria that have led to widespread protest. Ghana's anti-armed robbery squad, which is attached to the Criminal Investigations Department, has been in operation for almost 4 decades. There's more in the following report.
The Anti-Armed Robbery Squad was set up in September 1981 during the tenure of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings in the wake of widespread armed robbery. It has been credited for busting notorious robbers including Choco Spanner, German Cargo and many others. They have also been equally criticized for killing some persons who some say are not robbers. Akamwase MP Muntaka Mubarak shares his view.
They take them to a place and shoot and kill them. And I've cited the Zongo 7 because that's an independent committee says so, that they were arrested and sent to a particular location and shot and killed. That's what the report says. And unfortunately, these perpetrators, and for lack of better words, these murderers, are still within the police anti-robbery unit.
The unit was renamed the Violence Crime Unit with expanded function covering general crime investigation. It has since been restored to its initial name of Anti-Armed Robbery Squad and continues to fight crime. Some of the men in the unit are difficult to spot as they do not appear as ordinary police officers do in terms of hairstyle, for example. Its men are also often not in uniforms. Security analyst Adam Bona explains why.
The police or the security agencies don't have to disclose their tactics to the general public. By doing that, it would defeat the core mandate of fighting crime by the security agencies. They have been trained in a way that is almost mimicking that of the military, but they are supposed to operate within the civilian populated areas.
Security analyst Adam Bona ending that news desk report. We can now listen to Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, who's pushing for reforms in that particular police unit.
If you look at the way they look, shabbily dressed, some of them with dreadlocks, some of them unkempt hair. If they were not holding guns and they were not in the police vehicle and you meet them by the roadside, your first assumption is that this person is a deviant. That's how you see them. Police everywhere are supposed to look decent and look encouraging to the society. We see that in Europe and America everywhere. Let the police tell us where they are getting this idea that the police anti-robbery unit will go out in operation without uniform. They are wielding guns. They maltreat their suspects. They sometimes abuse them. The method of operations of the anti-robbery unit needs to be looked at seriously by the police administration. We are seeing what is happening in Nigeria and many parts of the world. It all started this way. And when the right-thinking Ghanaians kept quiet, it grew and became so abusive and so glaring. Now the abuse, it happens in their office or when they arrest people and nobody is watching. I filed a parliamentary on this anti-robbery unit, and it is my hope that the Interior Minister will find time to come and answer. But I know the time has run out because Parliament is rising next week for the election. Even after the election, I can assure you that it's something that I will pursue.
Minority Chief Whip in Parliament, Muntaka Mubarak there. Now, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, CHAS, is demanding a review of the free SHS policy. According to CHAS, the policy that was put in place 3 years ago has led to the collapse of PTAs in schools across the country, accounting for many abandoned projects at various levels, as well as support for schools. Speaking at the 5th Annual Conference of CHAS at Wesley Girls in Cape Coast, President of the conference, Yakubu Abubakar, urged the Ghana Education Service and other stakeholders to consider a reversal of that part of the policy to ensure effective administration in schools.
The Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools have been deliberating on the role of stakeholders in ensuring quality education in Ghana in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. President of the conference, Yakubu Abubakar, poured out the frustrations of the schools as a result of the policy on PTAs.
Our observation over the period is that PTA activities are gradually dying in our schools. Hitherto, the PTA were playing very significant roles in our schools. Nana Chairman, if a policy is in place and for the past 3 years it is not working, then it needs to be re-looked at. No wonder you go to many schools and you will see PTA abandoned projects at various levels. At present, even though there are delays in the release of funds, schools do not have the leverage like PTA to assist them, and so making the effective administration of schools problematic. After 3 years of the implementation of the free senior high school, Charles is calling for a review of the policy.
The conference also called for a review of the portion of the feeding grant given to schools. They say the 30% given to schools for perishables is not enough, suggesting a minimum of 40%. Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Joy News, Cape Coast.
This is still your election headquarters, and on the battleground later tonight, some residents of the Infantiman constituency disagree with the selection of the wife of murdered MP Eko Kwanza Hayford to contest the December 7 elections. Mrs. Ophelia Hayford will come face to face with James Iswan, who was beaten by her husband in 2016. Here's something to give you a sense of what to expect later today at 8 p.m.
So what we have done is that we have consulted with the various traditional councils and asked if indeed it is befitting for the woman to step into the shoes of the late husband. And they have all given us thumbs up. They believe that she has what it takes to take over. For the bereavement and the mourning, it is supposed to be so. But what is most important as well is that the job must be done. And if it must be done, it must be done well. And if it is going to be done well, then it has to be done by Mrs. Ophelia Kwanza Hayford.
MPP, one candidate here, Bessia. Now, Bessia no so sabe. No kun.
Now the MPP candidate, it was her husband that was involved in an accident. The question we want to ask is, does the MPP not have anybody apart from the wife of the deceased? We don't know this woman from anywhere.
People say Salaye Bessia one chamfa. Obana le yanyim ne bedala.
You definitely want to make a date with MFR Pau on the battleground later tonight at 8 p.m. Let's go on to the campaign trail now. We start off with the NDC's John Mahama, who is continuing his tour of the Greater Accra region. Today he's in Tema, and he's been accusing the NPP government of trading off loans being given to small businesses as part of COVID-19 support scheme for votes. Mr. Mahama says the next NDC government will not retrieve the funds, as has been suggested by this government.
They are distributing money meant to alleviate the impact of COVID-19. It's being given to party executives. What is left has been given to traders, and they are being told if they vote for Nanado, they won't have to pay back. But if they vote for John Mahama, he will come for the money from them. Such politics is not healthy. The money they are actually sharing was secured by me in the form of the stabilization fund. I will also not collect the money. We won't collect it. COVID has caused low incomes. If this money was distributed fairly, everyone would have obtained some.
The NDC's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, there. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo is wrapping up his tour of the Greater Accra region. Earlier today, he met with members of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs at Dodowa.
Government through the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs has arranged to provide the funds that will increase the number of sittings of Judicial Committee of Regional Houses to hasten the adjudication of pending issues in order to bring closure to many outstanding disputes that continue to generate tension. And I'm happy to hear from the President of the House that this has resulted in increased sittings of the Judicial Committee of the Greater House, resulting in the resolution of several outstanding adjudications.
President Akufo-Addo there. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. A new software application that can capture, monitor and track election violence or incidents is undergoing testing to be used by journalists and other stakeholders during coverage of the December polls. The software, known as Election Watch, was assembled by a private organization called Softmasters in collaboration with a national media organization. Apart from monitoring and tracking events on the day, it is an information platform that will also help improve other electoral processes. Well, still to come here on the Midday News, Ashanti Regional Health Directorate warns a second wave of coronavirus if Ghanaians do not observe safety protocols.
Case that you need to escalate the number of cases. So once we are getting 1 or 2 cases, if we are not careful and then we don't adhere to the protocols, the possibility that the cases will come up is so very rare.
We've got details in a moment. Do stay.
John Mahama has a solid track record of investing in the health of Ghanaians. He built ultra-modern hospitals such as the Ridge Hospital, University of Ghana Medical Center, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Maritime Hospital, as well as many district hospitals, polyclinics, and CHIP compounds. The next NDC government will provide free primary health care for every Ghanaian. Our free primary health care plan will provide quality health care for all Ghanaians at no cost to the individual. Under this plan, no Ghanaian will pay for health care in district hospitals, polyclinics, health centers, and CHIP compounds. Free primary health care will eliminate cost barrier to health care and guarantee all Ghanaians universal access to quality health care. You will not need a national health insurance card to benefit from free primary health care. John Mahama, provider of massive hospital infrastructure, is ready to deliver free primary health care to all Ghanaians. Vote John Mahama. Vote NDC.
Hey, Charlie, my network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make a change the SIM right now. Yes, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready?
2020, yes, woman now. 2020,
Fellow Ghanaians, since 2017, the NPP has put over 1.2 million young people through secondary school free because of free SHS. We are leaving no one behind. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in the life of every young person who is currently benefiting from free SHS or getting ready to go to secondary school. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
Thanks for staying on the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. It's now time for sports, and Baba Tando has details.
Yes, thanks, Bernice. And the Ghana Football Association President, Ket Okreku, has called on the multimedia group, specifically the sports unit of the business, to support its endeavors in uplifting the local game. Ket Okreku earlier today paid a working visit to the Kopomlemle Business Office of Multimedia to deliberate with the sports team on how to continue to improve the image of Ghana football. Here are bits of his conversation with the group.
I think when we took over office some 12 months ago, one of our foremost priorities was to identify the needs of our institution and try to provide same. And one of the needs that we identified was for us to get much closer to the media. Indeed, most of us here have had a relationship or two with the media. So we know the value of journalism. And just to buy into one of your most famous slogans, doing business without advertising. It's like what, living in the dark. We knew we had to have a clear strategy of engaging the media, for which reason we're quite clear in our mind what we had to do. So
That was GFA President Kurt Okreku having a conversation with the sports unit of the multimedia group. You can log on to myjoyonline.com/sports for more details of this particular story and others making the headlines. You're up to date in the world of sports. I'm Baba Tando.
Thank you, Baba. To other stories now, the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate has warned Ghana could experience a second wave of the coronavirus pandemic if citizens do not observe safety protocols. The Ashanti region has so far recorded 11,000 cases, 17 of which are active, and a daily infection of 2. Regional Director of Health, Dr. Tinkrang, says the public needs to stick to face mask wearing, social distancing, and hand washing regimes to ensure the rate of infections remains low. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting on the maintenance phase of COVID-19 in Kumasi, Dr. Tinkrang called on political leaders to educate their supporters to observe all the protocols. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko has more.
Regional Director of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Tinkrang, says continuous abstention from seeking general health care will contribute to more deaths outside the realm of COVID.
COVID is killing people. So you realize that if we calculate the number of COVID deaths in this country, it's maybe about 300. But indirectly, COVID has killed more people than that. Those people who with hypertension and other diseases who were supposed to have gone to hospital, but for the fear of COVID, they couldn't go. When you die, though you died from hypertension, but is COVID still COVID related?
Despite the low level of COVID cases at the moment, he said any form of complacency in observing the protocols could trigger a second wave of infections.
The only reason why we are not getting the morbidity and then the mortality is because of the strategies that we've put in place. But if we leave out this strategy and think that we can just go about and do our normal things, and COVID will still remain as low as 2 maybe per week in the Ashanti region, then we are lying. Because it's only one case that you need to escalate the number of cases that you have. So once we are getting 1 or 2 cases, if we are not careful and then we don't adhere to the protocols, the possibility that the cases will come up is also very rare.
Erastus Asaridonko's report. Many young men and women are dying in the northern region through motorcycle accidents every week. The Northern Regional Police Commander, COP Timothy Yosabunga, is worried lives of these energetic souls with the capacity to help increase productivity are just being snuffed out through these avoidable accidents. As he supports the National Road Safety Authority's Arrive Alive campaign, COP Yosabunga wants the public to slow down on the roads and rather be late than called late.
As we are approaching Christmas, my advice to road users is that let us exercise caution. Don't be in a hurry to get to any place. It's better you are late to that place than they will call you late. Exercise patience and obey your traffic regulations. Don't cross red light when it is red. Stop. When it is green, you go. Don't try to overtake the wrong side. And our motorists, when you are on the motorbike, make sure you have your helmet.
That was Northern Regional Police Commander COP Timothy Yosabunga. Arrive Alive is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority with support from Toyota Ghana, Toyota Superior Quality, and the Joy News Drive Safe campaign. Is now time for entertainment. Maps is here with the latest.
Bernice, the National Film Authority Action Group has petitioned President Akufo-Addo through the Tourism Ministry to open cinemas across the country. According to them, this is to enable the film industry kickstart its processes of recovering after it was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. In their petition, they say, we have carefully evaluated the potential spread of the virus at our cinemas, and the attached risk assessment shows the residual rating is safe for reopening. We propose an online booking system which will allow us to track and trace our customers easily.
Peter CBD there with what's happening in the world of entertainment, but later at 1 would have business.
And Deputy Minister of Finance Kweku Kwatin defends government's decision to issue Eurobond next year, insisting it will be subject to favorable market conditions.
Details at 1, and that's how we end this edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. Our top story: Accra Region Police Command interrogates NDC National Vice Chairman Alhaji Said scenario of accusations he distributed weapons to some persons to cause chaos during the December elections. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Don't go away yet. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensur Tabo. speaking on From Generation to Generation. I appreciate your company.